This video is going to be for those who like to work on their code in Visual Studio or another IDE, but have to keep copying code from that Visual Studio and pasting it into PuTTY. So today I'll show you how to make a batch file that will send a CPP file from Visual Studio, from your folders, to PuTTY. So the first thing you're going to want to do is make a bat file by creating a new text document, and then you're going to edit that end there, txt. You're going to put bat file, and then name it, let's go with copyfile. And I already have copyfile up, so we'll go copyfile1. And you're going to click yes. Now we have our batch file. You're going to right click that batch file and click edit. You're going to pull up blank, and I've already got an example of what we're going to put into this text here. Oops, meant to click edit. And I'll have this code copied into the description of the video. So you'll just take it, you'll copy it, and you'll put it into your new copyfile.bat. There's a few things that you're going to have to change though. I'll walk through and show you what this code is doing. The first thing it's doing is making a variable called fName, file name, and it's going to ask you to enter the name of the file that you want to copy over to PuTTY. So say you made assignment 16 in Visual Studio and you wanted to get it copied over to PuTTY, you'd enter assignment 16. Next, it's making a file path, and that file path is going to have wherever your file is located. So you're going to want to check your Visual Studios to see where your files are being saved. In my case, they're being saved in users, sjsky, source, repos. If you're using just the basic settings that it came with on Visual Studios, yours is probably also saving in repos under whatever your username for your computer is. And as you can see, as you go into repos, there's a file for each of the projects that you've made on Visual Studios. In that file, there's another name of the file that has the same name. You're going to go in, and then there's our CPP file that we are wanting to copy over. So our file path is going to equal users, sjsky, source, repos, and then our variable file name, and then variable file name again, .cpp. So we can see it's going source, repos, assignment 15, assignment 15, assignment 15.cpp. Next, it's going to tell our user copying file path to LinuxLab. And we've turned echo on so that we can see what's going on in the background. And next, what's going to happen is we're calling a program that's given to us by PuTTY. It's this pscp executable program, and that program calls for a few things to be sent to it. So this line here is running that program. And it's asking for, first it's going to ask for our password, just an example password here. It's going to ask for the port. This is our port. Then it's going to ask for the path that it's copying. So that's where the variable fPath comes in. This is our path. This is the path that it's going to copy. Next, it's going to ask for your username. Don't mind the J. You're going to type your username in over that word, and then it's going to ask for the IP address that we're using. And then it wants to know where it's sending the file to PuTTY. In this case, it's sending it to home, and then you're going to want to type in your PWD. In order to get your PWD, you're going to want to open up your PuTTY, type PWD, click enter, and it will show right there your PWD should be 3 letters followed by 5 numbers, I think. I won't show you mine. and then this is going to name that file whichever file you're calling for, then .cpp. So once you have all your things edited in this line and in this line, it should be able to run. And we'll show an example here by, make sure you save it. We'll show an example by opening up Visual Studio, and we will create a new project with C++, and we're going to call that project testing that file. All right. It's creating. And this is the code that it's always going to start with. Just testing that file. We're going to save and we'll exit. Now let's run our copy file. Enter the file name, testing that file. Without the .cpp, I'm going to click enter. And this here shows us that it was copied successfully. You key to continue. Click enter. Now you're going to open up your PuTTY, do an ls to see if you have everything there. And here is our testing that file. So we know that it ran successfully. We'll exit out and let's run it again. Let's try to send it something that doesn't exist, or maybe misspell it, that file. And no such file or directory can be found. So now you're able to open up your test that file. Spell it. Testing that file .cpp, and we're able to see that it's copied over quite well. So now anytime you make a project in Visual Studio, you're able to send it over via this file without having to copy and paste any text. Then next time we'll go over fetching a template from PuTTY. Say you want to make a new project in Visual Studios, but you need the template from PuTTY. This file will help retrieve a template from PuTTY and copy it to your desktop. Hope that it works for y'all. Comment if you have any questions.